long ago people married their Pokemon. That's because long ago Pokemon and people were the same. To smash cut to showing the announcement for Legends of Arceus and be like, oh, it's an ancient Sinnoh region.
You know who else has class? Rich people. You know who sucks ass? Rich people. You know who has swag? Me.
True.
You know who doesn't suck ass? Yeah, I wouldn't say it's all culture. I'm not out here like, yeah, you know, any, like, you know, there's so many cultures that exist in the world, and like.
I was in Reno all week.
Unfortunate. Sorry to hear that.
It was honestly not. It was neither as good nor as bad as it sounds.
Sounds pretty awful.
It was perfectly average. The worst part was that there was so much goddamn smoke from the California fires that I couldn't see like what I'm sure was actually gorgeous landscape surrounding it.
Yeah, I always forget that, like, that's a West Coast thing. You're like, oh yeah, there's just gonna be fires all the time forever.
Yeah, there was so much smog. I just literally couldn't.
Yeah, I forgot about the fact that, like, in the western half of the country, there's just literally forest fires.
Yeah, right.
All the time, because that's just how the forests manage.
That's just how the forests do.
I also forget that there's literally only like 2 types of trees.
I'm sorry.
In any given area. Yeah.
No, I feel where he's coming from here.
Yeah, like the flora biodiversity of like actual like trees is like borderline non-existent. You really only get, depending on where you're at, 1 to 2 types of trees in any given area.
Mm-hmm. It's so weird because, like, you know, you go around, and around here, I know what trees to expect. I know what trees I'm like used to seeing. And then when I was in Seattle hanging out, we took a hike and the moss looked different. Not like in a way that I've been able to find any pictures to explain what I mean, but like it looked distinctly different, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah. It was kind of cool.
That is honestly very cool. I am intrigued.
Hi, intrigued.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, of course, like almost of course, but also like definitely not something I would have thought about.
No, right? That's kind of how I sit with it too. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that different areas have different like stuff like that, and you know, not all moss is equal and everything like that. Everything is just different.
But, Hashtag, you know, not all moss.
See, I thought you were gonna, since you wanted to talk about Abraham Lincoln for some reason, I thought you were gonna use this as your chance to like be like, actually, Noah, Abraham Lincoln made sure that all moss was equal, or something dumb like that.
So here's the context for this. So I was in Reno. I was doing some work shooting, and
Abraham Lincoln was born in Reno.
Let me finish. You'll get there. You'll get where I'm going. And I had a lot of downtime. I had a lot of downtime.
Vegas.
And rather than going out in the town in Reno and spending money, because I'm not just gonna go gambling in worst Las Vegas.
That's an incredibly valid take. Yes.
Myself and my coworker who was with me stayed in the hotel room and watched a lot of garbage movies.
Okay.
You know, I gotta say real quick while we're on the Reno subject though.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
like, yeah. The gall of trying to be like, yeah, we're gonna be the gambling city. Oh, like where at? Nevada.
Exactly, dude. Reno has so much like attitude to it.
They have one already, man.
Yeah,
the
go
big one.
Elsewhere.
Like, do the Branson thing. Like, you know, be like, we're in Missouri. Shut up, Branson. Fuck you. But like Reno, like you're like an hour from Vegas, and you're like, yep, we're the one.
I can't imagine
Reno,
being
baby.
in the same state as Vegas and trying to make your whole thing being, yeah, we're the gambling place.
Yeah, do what other things in Nevada do, or around Vegas do, I suppose. Like, have the Grand Canyon, or buy the London Bridge and reassemble it piece by piece.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, the London Bridge. It's in, like, literally, like, buttfuck nowhere, Arizona.
Holy shit.
They bought it and they reassembled it brick. Yeah, they bought the bridge when they were going to reconstruct it, and they literally reassembled it brick by brick about, like, an hour from Vegas.
That's so silly.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
That's such, honestly,
yeah,
it's what Britain deserves, right?
No, agreed. 110%.
Except we probably paid for the bridge, and they just kind of snagged things, but like...
Well, there is that.
It wasn't us. I'm pretty sure it was, like, a dude.
Oh, a dude?
Or, like, a company was like, you know what we could use? That. I'll have to look it up. I'm not 100% sure that it was, like... I know it wasn't bought by the government, though. unless it was a local government, but like it wasn't bought federally.
That's so wild.
Yeah, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Let's see. I'm trying to find out where. Sailed to Robert McCullough was the guy's name. He was an oil guy. Bought for
Wild.
$2 million in 1968.
Oil guys have far too much power.
Agreed.
I know that that's not like a fresh hot take of any kind, but like every time I find out about some oil trillionaire who just went and did something, it makes me more and more like unhappy. It's like, what do you mean they had that kind of disposable income to buy the London Bridge? What do you mean?
Oh, actually, wait, hold up. It's not actually an oil company, but rather a gas engine company known for making chainsaws. The McCulloch chainsaws.
Huh.
Holy shit. What?
That's so...
The chainsaw people owned by Husqvarna?
Oh, the Husqvarna chainsaw people.
Well,
Why
no, they
didn't you
bought it
say
after
that?
the sale. They bought it after the sale. But like, huh? What? Why did they like? Why? It's okay. I'm living off of chainsaws. I would like to buy the London Bridge. Thank you.
Hello. Yes, I would like to buy your bridge.
Yes, I also would do that. Because why not? Let's just...
Which I will say, guy who makes chainsaws way cooler than like an oil baron.
True.
I feel like
Is he
that's
just
just...
helping?
It's almost the same as guys who make duck calls, though. It has a very
very
similar
similar.
energy to me.
You're like, you're not like evil, but like, you probably aren't cool.
It's like... There's really not a reason for me to immediately dislike you as much as I do, but I also don't get good vibes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Duck Dynasty people are like, in reality, I mean, well, they're bad people and what they like financially support is bad. But like making duck calls, not so bad.
Yeah.
You know, waterfowl hunting is not like the least ethical thing imaginable. You know, most of it's done like in a very sanctioned way in which things are like looked out for in like from a conservative or from a conservationist, not conservative standpoint. So like, yeah, you know, most of the time those kind of things are fine. Duck hunting's all right. But
Everyone I
like,
know who's a duck hunter is like incredibly passionate about preserving too.
Yeah, but it's still just like you do make duck calls. Like you shouldn't get a show.
True.
You made quack boxes. Get over yourself.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of those shows should not have gotten shows. Like, to be 100% fair.
Name one other.
OCC.
If you say Rock of Love, wrong.
Orange County Choppers did not need its own show.
I don't know what that is.
Whoa. I can't believe that you're saying that one of the like 7 motorcycle reconstruction shows.
Let me phrase that.
didn't
Actually,
need
I'm
its
sorry.
own
It
show.
didn't need 2 shows. Fun fact.
Oh, 2
What's
shows.
the motorcycle company that Paul Walker wears the shirt of in Too Fast, Too Furious?
I don't know.
No.
Is this
Why
a
would
trick
you ask?
question,
You know
or do
none of
you,
us
like,
are going to know.
No, I just am trying to remember. It's
Okay.
like West Coast Chopper or something. I don't know.
West
Something
Coast
like that.
Chopper. That was another show, wasn't it?
That was another show.
They were all based out of California. That was
That's not
probably
true.
half the appeal.
The Orange
You know
County
what?
Chopper is Orange County,
I,
New York, not Orange County, California.
Really?
That sucks.
Yep, I went and saw them at one point because my dad and I
Why?
were fans of the show when we were much younger. When I was much younger.
That-
Oh, okay.
That makes sense, though. I mean,
when
I
I had
used
no
to love
discernment.
shows like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
no, I'm not going to say no discernment because honestly, like shows like that are fun. It's the same logic as like Pimp My Ride, where it's just like it's fun to watch people work on things and make them cooler.
Yeah.
I personally would love to be like someone with like mechanic knowledge. I think that would be a blast, but I know I'm not gonna ever get to that point at this point in my life. So,
You
or
could.
at least I'm not gonna get to it soon at this point in my life. So I'm not like stressing about it right now.
I don't get motorcycles though. I enjoy
Why?
motorcycles. I think they're like cool as hell. Why is motorcycle culture like
Like that.
anything that it is? I mean, obviously for like strictly corporate reasons, it's such a corporate thing.
Mhm.
But like no one who's into it will say that it is.
Mhm.
Like, bro, it's all sold to you by multi-million-dollar companies at least. And it's all sold for like the idea of an aesthetic. Like your bandana is not edgy, man. They made 700 of them. They're $6 in the store.
Oh, $6. You need
stores-
to get a better bandana, man.
True. But like, you know, like it's not like why when did like Harley Davidson become badass? Bro, it's just like a convenient way to get around.
Honestly,
It takes
my
up less
favorite
space
thing
and is
about
more fuel efficient.
biker culture is like Harley supremacy. It's such a weird angle for everyone to be on, especially when it's like I know people who will like double down on that Harley is a much better bike than everything else on the market. But then like Honda will come out with a borderline identical motorcycle and it's not cool just because it's Honda.
Honda from foreign that make Honda bad.
True.
Thank you.
But then they love the Goldwing.
Okay, the Goldwing's classic though. It goes hard.
Well, that's the thing, is the only reason that it's okay is because it's classic. The Honda Shadow, not cool at all because, oh, they're just ripping off Harleys, man.
Damn, how could they? They have handlebars on that? That's a ripoff.
I know, right?
What's that, a motorcycle? What a ripoff.
can't believe-
Motorcycle with no motor? Yeah,
Sorry,
I just
Dan.
I don't get motorcycle culture because it's just like, why are you trying so hard to be like gruff? It's just a smaller like car with no windows. Like it's not like you're better about anything. It's
that's how.
yeah.
I mean, you could make that same exact statement about any culture, though. Like that's
No.
most cultures. Or
that's not the
subcultures, I
culture
should
of
say.
people who own like a Toyota Corolla. They're like, I like my car.
No, but
you know,
like,
I can't get behind that for Toyota Corolla specifically because I know a lot of people who are just way too into their Corollas.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it was just
I-
like people were like, yeah, this is pretty dependable.
No, it's
there are a lot of people who
what
get
is it?
very
There's
into
the
their
Corolla
things.
culture, and what's the other one? There's Corollas, and then there's the other one. They're both Toyota Corolla and the Honda something Civic, Honda Civic.
Honda Civic.
Honda
Yeah.
Civic culture is bad because Honda Civic people punch drywall for sure.
True.
See, but Corolla people, it's very similar energy. They're borderline identical cars in my mind, and everyone I know who's into either car is into both cars, unless
actually,
they have a
what
specific
happened,
reason
though-
to hate the other brand.
The problem with the Honda Civic is like they put a spoiler on the models after like 2017, and people were like, "This car fucks."
That is
True.
a problem. Yes, I had.
And like, bro, it's just a mid-sized sedan that's
Wait,
pretty
no, I didn't
dependable.
have a
Get over it, dude.
My brother drove a Civic for a hot minute, and it was, it was just a nice car. It worked
Yeah.
really well. I had a Corolla for
Very
a
dependable.
while. It was great. I would buy another Corolla in a heartbeat.
Yeah, very
The
dependable.
mileage I got off that thing was heavenly. Like,
Oh, insane.
man, I was so spoiled off that. I had no idea until here I was trying to drive a Kia Soul around downtown and having to deal with, like,
Driving a Kia Soul.
well, not only driving a Kia Soul, but I'm out here with like 19 miles a gallon in the city.
That's not
Yikes.
good.
No, it's not.
You know what? I will say that I don't mind like the Corolla culture when people are like, my car is great, it's super dependable and gets great fuel efficiency. Because like motorcycle people aren't doing that. They're like, I drive a motorcycle, I can beat you up because of it. You're like, why?
Which is
Like, why
wild
does any of
because
this have
the
it-
fuel efficiency is a good angle to go with because
Yeah, the fuel efficiency and the dependability and the convenience and like it's so easy to port, it's so easy to cover up, it's so easy to keep like maintained. Why are you making it like into a tough guy thing? It's just bro, it's just a scooter that's a little bit different. If someone on a Vespa talked like that, everyone would be laughing at him. But when it's a motorcycle, they're like, no, it's different, man. How many cubic centimeters of power that thing? Shut up, dude. Nobody cares. Just talk about how like it gets like 70 miles to the gallon.
you know what I bet it is? I bet a lot of it is because mechanic culture intersects with motorcycle culture in a big way. Because a lot of
Yeah.
guys who are into motorcycles also do all their own maintenance and I don't know if you've noticed, but all the worst people ever are the people who work on their own cars and make sure you know that they do.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, you got the intersection of a vehicle branded to make you into a badass, big, tough man, in addition to the pretentiousness of, yeah, I work on my car. I have a $30,000 lift in my garage so that I can professionally work on my car. And I'll probably work on your car too, but I'm going to be resentful about it and I'm going to charge you more than the average garage.
But then I'm also going to be offended when you don't come to my garage to do it. That's not actually like an official garage.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't get like tough guy motorcycle culture. If it was like if they talked about like the dependability and the versatility of a motorcycle, I'd be all there for it. Cause like honestly, they're like really cool. I love motorcycles.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't quite get where like the tough guy aspect got sold to them. Never had to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I feel like this is just a complaint about most cultures. Like it's the same thing for a lot of
I don't think so.
It's the same thing for a lot of gun
specific.
culture. It's the same thing for a lot
I am-
of like any
But-
kind of like
Yeah, but not any culture. Any
But
tough
a
guy
lot
and that's
culture.
the
fine,
thing
sure,
is
any tough guy culture.
Biker
sure,
culture
but still.
intersects with too many other not inherently toxic cultures, but not desirable cultures, like toxic tough guy culture and I work on my own car at home culture and yeah, I drive drunk, what of it culture. Like there's a lot of overlap between like Harley guy culture and that stuff. I think that is why it gets at least a worse rap from me.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not all culture. I'm not out here like, yeah, fans of the Toyota Corolla are just as bad. I'm like, no, I specifically don't like the idea that toughness has been sold as a major aspect of motorcycle culture. But not all culture is inherently like wrapped around the idea of toughness. But cultures that typically are, I also have a problem with. It's very similar.
That's fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's all culture. I'm not out here like, yeah, you know, any like, you know, there's so many cultures that exist in the world, and like, obviously there's the ones that are like ethnic and national based, but then there's, you know, your subcultures, and I don't have a problem with most of those. Just the ones that are like, we're tougher than you because we're part of this. Those are the lame ones.
I would agree.
And
I
fine,
think
Dan. Motorcycles are not the only subculture that act.
No,
like
no, no.
that.
It's,
Is that-
I'm
is
just,
that
I'm
what
just
you're-
thinking. No, I'm thinking through. I'm not sitting here like seething. I'm just quietly. I'm trying to think of.
He's
like-
seething right now.
I'm so mad. How dare you? You told me I was incorrect.
Dan's offended. He loves bikers.
I do. Dude, I just want to kiss a biker. What can I say? I don't know. I feel like I agree with you that a lot of tough guy cultures are awful. I think that it extends even broader to any culture that like uses their culture and becomes kind of a mob mentality around whatever thing specifically they're into to make other people feel bad or to try and make other people feel bad.
Yeah, but I'm talking specifically about like the idea of like that toughness and the hyper masculinity that follows it.
Exactly.
Where there's a lot of cultures that don't play on that. Some of them do like elitism in their own ways. Plenty of them do. But I'm talking about like the
You're
people
talking
who are
rock and
like,
roll
yeah,
musicians.
Yeah.
I drive a motorcycle, so I have to hate women.
I see that.
You're like, what?
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
it's
that's
very,
why
it's
I
very
agree.
It's not me saying I hate
disconnected,
tough
like,
guy things.
how did we get to this point kind of thing.
Because I said I don't like when motorcycle people talk about being tough, and you said you
No,
don't like
I meant
culture.
no. Sorry, I meant like how did the culture get to this point? Is what I was trying to say. Sorry.
Oh, I think it's like marketing and branding, trying to like maintain. I would say like in America, particularly like maintain like American industry in that like nationalistic like shitty way, not in like a way of like, hey, we have a good product, in the way of like, hey, foreign things are bad, and also you have to be American tough guy macho, which means you have to drive this kind of motorcycle.
Yeah.
And then because it like ploys on masculinity, which is such a huge part of like how, you know, Americans perceive their value within culture, at least American men, and oftentimes, you know, that whole like patriarchal idea of masculinity bleeds down into the way that women are treated in the women act within society as well. A lot of times I feel like the motorcycle culture kind of bled down into that just because they were like, hey, you want to be a man, don't you? And like when you have a whole bunch of people doing that as like their peer pressure bit with their Harley, everyone else is like, wow, yeah, I don't want to be different than that because you'll be mean to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want people to be mean to me. I am.
Sure.
I'm
There's
allergic to that.
And then there's the classic like the biker like rides things that they do, and there's that one group that like I get it and I'm happy for it, but like the bikers against child abuse.
Yeah, dude, those guys are rad.
Yeah, but like shouldn't like, and I get like the organization's point, but like that should like that's the default. Like
Oh yes,
that
absolutely.
should be the default.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't
Like,
disagree. I actually have some friends who are in Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Yeah, and it's a good organization. They do good stuff, and like they seem like everyone I've met is like a good person. But I'm always like, shouldn't that just be bikers? Shouldn't it just be like?
Do you have to specify?
Yeah, you know, the fact you have to specify is slightly worrying.
I mean, it is. I'm not
But I
going to
also
pretend it's
imagine
not,
they're
but-
probably not. But I'm sure they're also not like ostracized by the motorcycle community at whole.
No, I from everything
I
I've
would
heard,
hope
nobody. They're one of those few groups that exist in the world that nobody has a real issue with.
Well, yeah, because if I'm like, hey man, our whole thing is like donating to causes that help prevent child abuse, and someone's like, I hate you.
Is that the
You'd be
same
like,
group?
"Why?"
Isn't that the same group that shows up in Isn't it the same group that shows up in like courtrooms and stuff all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was making sure it was the same group. Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah, but I agree with you. It should be kind of a default. That said,
It's like
One could also argue that the same thing about all like anti-child abuse organizations.
Exactly.
Though, so it's
that's
like
true. Or like Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
yeah,
I'm not Mothers for Drunk Driving.
exactly.
Some moms say this is okay, but we're the ones that are against it.
We're better than them.
we're the cool moms. We know better.
Dan, talk about vampires.
I don't even remember
Yeah.
what I was going to talk about. So
I
Abraham
assumed it was
Lincoln, watch
Abraham
bad
Lincoln
movies.
Vampire Hunter because you were
it
talking
was
about
yes,
Reno.
yeah, terrible movies. So we watched two terrible movies while we were chilling in our hotel room in Reno.
I can't
The first
believe
was
I knew
freaky.
more about Dan's topic.
The first was Freaky, which was very fun but very bad.
I was gonna say I will say I'm a little resentful of you calling Freaky a terrible movie.
Oh,
But I
okay,
also
fine.
am not
Okay,
gonna sit
neither
here
of
and
them. I would
act
actually
like I
go
don't
so far as to say
understand.
neither of them are terrible. Both were extremely entertaining and also not good. Like
No,
they were.
I mean Freaky has its problems.
Freaky has a lot of problems. That said, the leads are not the problem. They were phenomenal. I'm blanking on both of their
Vince
names right
Vaughn.
now. But
Vince Vaughn and what's her name, who I can't
what's her
remember.
name? Yeah, exactly. Vince Vaughn was
I
very
only know
good.
Vince Vaughn from that.
And then the I can't remember her name either, and it's bugging me. If only I had access to the sum of all human knowledge at my fingertips, that would be
I
convenient.
know, right? Shame that you don't, though. So I guess we'll just keep calling her not Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn and the other one.
Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton,
There it was.
who was also in Detective Pikachu. She was Lucy.
In what?
Detective
Detective
Pikachu. Now
Pikachu.
you're speaking my language.
Mm-hmm,
I gotta talk about that later too.
Yeah, we can talk about Pikachu later. I actually like Freaky a lot more than I thought I would. Especially considering how much I am not a fan of horror movies.
Mhm.
But I think this one lands kind of in a. It is still very much gory and like a lot, but it lands it has enough comedic element to it that like I was able to stay like on board and not just completely check out.
And not that you're one of the guys that can't watch old movies, but it
Correct.
doesn't hurt that it is a newer movie, so it doesn't suffer from the same kind of old
It doesn't
horror
suffer
movie
from
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot less of the old horror movie stuff. It very much feels in the same broad strokes vein as something like Cabin in the Woods, where it is making fun of its tropes, but it is fulfilling them at the same time. But yeah, very fun. Enjoyed that a lot. Way more, not something that I would like go out to watch again, but something I'd be like, yeah, put it on the background and I'll dick around on my phone while it's on. Some of the editing
We've
was really
considered
fun.
doing it on the other podcast a few times now. It's
Yeah,
just
let me
an
know.
enjoyable time.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable movie. The one that was surprising, like so here's my problem with the other movie that we watched, Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I enjoyed it way more than I wanted to. I went into this thinking, oh, this is gonna be so fucking terrible. God, I'm so excited to see this be bad. And like it wasn't good. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend it was good, but there were some parts that I'm like, damn, that's fucking great. That's so good.
It's just in. Dan unironically thinks Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter is a great
Yeah, and that's
movie.
fine.
I did. That's exactly what I said. I said, honestly, must see, best movie of 2012? 2012.
Yeah. You know what movie goes hard that's in a similar vein? Pride and Prejudice
Hmm.
and Zombies. It's just a good ass movie.
That's what I've heard,
People who don't
actually.
like
I've
it?
heard it's a very similar
Yeah,
idea.
it's just goofy.
It
it's
slaps.
fun.
I'm not gonna lie.
People who hate it just don't know
Yeah.
how to like laugh at things, and they're like, actually, movies have to mean a lot to me personally, or else they're all bad. Like, shut up.
Yeah. No, I very much like went in and was like, this is gonna be bad, and it suddenly was like, oh, this is still bad. But some parts of it are just
It's
a
just
gift.
goofy. Yeah, it's fun.
Just goofy. It's so goofy.
And like it knows it's goofy, but it doesn't play into the goofiness too much.
Exactly. It does. It's not afraid of being goofy, but it also takes itself seriously and doesn't like be like, no, we are goofy, but we're not stupid.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like Sharknado level of like, see guys,
Exactly,
it's silly.
exactly.
You're like, instead it's just like, no, Abe Lincoln is a vampire hunter. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what it is. Like we're all here on the same page.
It does one of my favorite movie things of you're presented with and as we all know, Abe Lincoln is a vampire hunter, and then
Mhm.
you move on from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts ridiculous and just keeps going.
But like, if the movie tried to convince you that Abraham Lincoln was a vampire hunter, it would lose so much, because the fact that it's just like, yeah, Abraham Lincoln's a vampire hunter.
Yeah.
It's in the name of the fucking movie. Would you think it wasn't going to be a thing? And then it just
Yeah,
goes.
exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's so good. Personal highlight from, actually, I will say for both of them, fucking both extremely well edited. Like there were some really, really, really fun edits and edit points in Abe Lincoln that I was like, oh shit, that's fucking rad. Look at that. That was a cool cut. Look at you. And Freaky had a
And
couple.
that's not
of
even
similar
like talking
things.
about the literary analysis of if Abe Lincoln was a vampire hunter.
Dude, I do. I really love the idea that, like Jackson said, it basically comes in and says, here's the premise of this movie. You have to, if you want to enter this movie's garden, like you have to just accept Abe Lincoln is Vampire Hunter. That's the
I mean, I
baseline,
said
and
that,
we're
but
not
go
going to get any further than that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like, well, they don't try and convince you why Abraham Lincoln is a vampire. Just like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies doesn't try and convince you why it's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. It's just like, yeah, it's in the name of the book. If you picked it
just
up,
is,
why are
and
you
that's enough.
confused?
Yeah, I will say there was the thing that it made me very uncomfortable on some level that while they don't be like, oh, Abe Lincoln, actually not that good a guy, actually just hated vampires, so that's why he did everything. They did make it so that, like, a large part of his beef with the South was that most of them were most slave owners are vampires, and I didn't love that's uncomfortable.
It does lose a little bit, and that he's not like, the problem is racism. He's like, the problem is vampires who happen to be racist.
I mean, to be fair, he does do both, but I think the racism gets a little diluted when he's like, we'll make a nation
problem
free
is I'm
of
racist
vampires.
against vampires.
It's exactly it. Very silly. So fucking silly. Oh my god, I love it. I love that movie a lot. That would be a movie that I would 100% put on in the background anytime, anywhere, and just let it play. It's also way gorier than I went into it expecting. Like, very, very, like, fun fights with, like, a whole lot of beheadings going on.
Did you know there's a sequel?
Is there?
Yeah, it's called The Last American
Ulysses
Vampire.
S. Grant, Vampire
It's only a
Hunter.
book, but there's a sequel to Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I just looked it
Last
up because I was like,
American
I know
Vampire?
like the Pride and Prejudice zombie guy did both, and I was like, but what else did he do? Did he do anything else? He also did The Last American Vampire.
I was about to ask if he was the one. That
Oh
did
yeah,
That cover on that book is actually fucking
yeah.
great.
It's the same thing he did with like the other two, where it's just like,
I didn't see the other with the
yeah,
I didn't see the actual regular cover for Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Like, I saw the movie cover, but I didn't see the movie poster, but I didn't see actually the.
yeah. It's a. I mean, I don't know. I feel like those are some underrated gems.
I feel like they're also not a movie that, like, is easy. I'm surprised that the movie got made as recently as 2012. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
does
there's
feel
a-
like an 80s concept, doesn't it?
Exactly. There's a huge problem, and I've been talking to a couple of people about this recently, about Hollywood movies these days, where, like, in the 80s when DVDs were a huge thing, you could have bad movies and then they'd still make money back on the back end once they got through their DVD release. And now that's really not a factor anymore for a lot of movie releases. So that's part of the reason that Hollywood genuinely does have a lot less risky and, like, weird off the wall movies. Because why would they take the risk when they know they can make the money directly from this?
Mm-hmm.
And this very much feels like a weirdly risky movie that, like, should have been, like, I would have not been surprised to find this on DVD in a Blockbuster when I was much younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that feels like where it would have gotten a lot of its watch time, whereas as is, it had its theatrical release and that was the end of it.
Where did you watch these movies on? Like, where are they available?
I think this was HBO. We had HBO
So
in
I
the
was
room.
hoping it wouldn't be, but because I want to watch Pride and Prejudice and
let's see.
Zombies again. I actually saw it in theaters, way back in the day.
Let's see. Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter, where to watch? Oh, it's also
I
on
think
Hulu. If you
Nina
have
has it
Hulu.
on DVD, and it is the only physical entertainment medium Jeff owns is the Blu-ray of Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
That's incredible.
So can we just, like, can we collectively, like, off the podcast, off the air, have a watch party for this movie?
Absolutely,
Because I would 100% watch
phenomenal.
Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm so down.
I was actually about to say, Jackson, if you want to come over, we could do a thing. Dan,
okay.
you could also come over. Well, I didn't know
I
if
see
you
how it
wanted.
is.
You just watched Abe Lincoln Vampire Slayer. I didn't know if you were ready for Pride, Prejudice, and
What better
Zombies.
time?
It's
It's
a
fine.
commitment.
Whatever.
You're invited. Fuck off.
Speaking of invited, that's why I want to talk about vampires.
Yeah,
gotta be invited to your
you
house,
had vampire
right?
stuff to talk about. Yeah.
How does that invitation have to work? Does it have to be a sentient person saying, "Yes, you can come in, vampire"? How much buffoonery and trickery can go on?
I feel like it depends.
it
right?
feels like you
If
have a
you're in,
specific-
I have a specific instance. Yeah, I have a.
Yeah.
So as
Oh, so are you talking about like floor mats?
No.
Like, welcome to our home. Maybe the sign on my door. Welcome to our smoke-free
even
home.
even more specific actually, and I would say more inviting than a doormat. My girlfriend's family has a parrot, and it always says, "Come in."
Oh,
Could a vampire enter their house?
I would say yes. Because I feel like
it.
well, I think it depends on your medium, right? Because if it's what we do in the shadows, 100%, you're in.
That's
I'm
true.
sorry,
Because
you're
it'd be
screwed,
goofy.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's why they would be. It's like the nice thing about Alexa or something like that, you know, like they can get it to say what they
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, I feel like it really depends, right? Because I think in some lore, the vampire entering your house is it is a like physical thing, but it's also like adds to the like, vampires have all these codes of like whatever bullshit, and so it's less of a they physically literally can't enter your house, and it's more of a like by the honor system whatever vampire bullshit can't enter your house, right? Just as binding,
Personally,
but less like direct, and so I feel
I'm
like trying to
a
cheat
big
your way
fan of
in that specific
physically.
regard. I'm a big fan of physically as well, 100%. I think it's a much more like maybe
It's
not
a more
interesting take,
engaging
but
concept.
engaging. Yeah, engaging. That's a good word. Man, I want to play a vampire RPG one of these days. I'm not quite so far as to go like I want to play Vampire the Masquerade,
Blah.
but also I would 100% play Vampire the Masquerade if somebody was running it.
Curse of Strahd.
Now, see, I'm gonna make a hot take, and Emma, this is not a call out for you and the and Emma's whole like they're doing Curse of Lady Strahd right now, and this is not a call out. I think Strahd is kind of not interesting by default. I think Curse of Lady Strahd at least is a turn to it, but like I think Strahd is kind of a meh vampire. I'm much more interested in a world of vampires than I am in like D&D Dracula.
Well, I think that's the issue is D&D Dracula has been memed to death as well. So it's, in my opinion, harder to be engaged with him.
I also am... I'm more of a single vampire than a multi-vampire fan.
Interesting.
I prefer like a very, very small group of vampires. I.e. like Twilight, as opposed to something like Underworld, where there's like
True Blood
cities of vampires, just vampires, or like Daywalkers. Or not Daywalkers, Daybreakers.
I think you gotta have your vampires like the part of the allure of a vampire setting is that they have to be engaged with like the world that they're stuck in, and they can't be the dominant species, right? Like you can't just go off to vampire.
Although I will
town.
say, I think Daybreakers.
You can go off to a town that is run by vampires.
I think Daybreakers
That's
is
totally
a lot of
fine.
fun. I think
don't
the
know what
Ethan
that
Hawke
is.
movie with like a vampire society that like has taken over, and like the problem is that they're running out of humans.
That is a phenomenal concept,
It
and
is
I love
fun,
that.
and it's like futuristic, so it's not like it's like future times, and there's like vampire tech, and there's like, but then like they've eaten all the people pretty much.
I do like that there is definitely like an aspect of modern, like air quotes modern vampirism, in which they have to be like, all these vampires are, there's literally like sweatshops, what's the word? Slaughterhouses for humans, because like literally they're just food kind of thing. Like I'm very intrigued by that sort of thing.
There was a vampire anime that kind of did that I'm like vaguely remembering. I couldn't tell you much about it, but it was like a vampire hunting kind of anime. Yeah, it's anime. You know what they do. You know anime. You know what they be about, them anime characters. That's my vampire take. It's just like, do you think a parrot could invite a vampire in? Or do you think it has to be a person?
I think it depends, but overall, yes.
I kind of agree.
Because I feel like, because it ends up going to, you end up sitting in the realm of, if a parrot can't, then why is it that people who are under the vampire's like
thrall
compulsion, why can they invite them in? Because that's objectively also not a full like consent thing. It's a little like it to me still feels like you're kind of bending your rules a little bit.
I agree.
I will say I think it's the other that's the other like that's the only like iffy thing with vampires for me is that man, vampires can get real icky real quick. Like I think by their nature they tend to be, like by the nature of the stories that they're built on, they usually are, but man, it just makes me uncomfortable.
I think that's the problem with when people try to make vampires too lovable too. It's like, oh, it's my cute bloodsuck boy. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, you can.
I mean, don't we all want to
have
cute stuff
fun
boy
with
though?
Stop.
You're the one that said the cute bloodsuck boy. I cannot be blamed for your failures.
You can be blamed.
I'm more
actually,
of a werewolf guy.
because I am blaming you. But like a lot of people really enjoy the idea of just like it's fun, but also vampires are inherently a little sus, shall we
Yeah.
say?
Vampires, sussy
I think it's a good-
bacos. Thank you.
Yes.
You got it. I don't know. It's still fun. Vampires are an interesting villain to bring out all the time, I would argue. But
I
like,
think vampires are top 10 villain tropes. Top 5 villain tropes. I love me some vampires.
I
Vampires,
like them.
I would even go so far to say vampires are cool.
I think vampires are cool as villains. I don't really like them as protagonists at all. I think werewolves are swag. Vampires are no swag.
I feel like the issue with protagonist vampires, you end up getting like quote unquote vegetarian vampires, like in Twilight, where it's
fucking
like
love that.
Vegetarian vampires.
I get it, but also at the same time, it's like, I mean, it kind of sucks.
It's
though.
not nearly as fun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Uh,
As someone who has not watched Twilight, I'm gonna drop some opinions about
I
it as if I
like
have.
Twilight. I think it's fun, and I think the fact that the world is going to a Twilight Renaissance is wholesome. But I also think Twilight's weird,
Oh, I think it's a blast.
and I think Twilight's weird. It's got a lot of problems. It's very strange, and it's got some some issues. But it's a classic. It was an enduring part of culture for a long while there back in the day, and it's kind of come back and got it in a second look from a different crowd, and that's cool.
I just love how shockingly Mormon it is because of the creator.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, and they play it as like
do
a.
not know.
They're like, well, Edward actually, he's a gentleman. He wants to wait until marriage. Like, oh boy, I can't believe there's a much older man. Well, he's a gentleman though, because he's not gonna do anything to you until you're married. But then you get married to him pretty
Exactly.
quick. I'm like, damn, you really are Mormon as hell. But in the book though, he didn't really want to get married that much.
no, he didn't.
Not like he wanted to marry her.
Yeah,
He's cooler than that.
Getting married for
I think.
No, dude, I love it.
I think that
Good.
vampires, werewolves is kind of like the swag is for boys, class is for men, but in the way that cool people would say it. Where like swag is for boys, class is for men, but like, swag being the cool one.
Mm-hmm.
Vampires they have class, which sucks. You know who else has class? Rich people. You know who sucks ass? Rich people. You know who has swag? Me.
True.
You know who doesn't suck ass? Well,
Is it
I
you?
don't know, but that's up for debate. But I'd like to say me.
I think that there's actually like something there. Like I don't totally agree. I don't agree with the conclusion, but I really do like that. Like
You
as
don't
a
have class and
premise.
swag.
No, well, because I prefer the class over the swag. That's the kind of person I am. I always have, always
Swag is
will.
way cooler.
That's
Ooh,
fine.
Go back to Reddit.
Listen, dude. I don't think it's uncalled for to like some class. That's fine.
Snapbacks and tattoos.
Oh, we got you there.
Damn.
Uh,
Damn. You know what? You're right.
You know who-
I really should just be
you
wearing
know who wears a
snapbacks. Huh?
suit? The Joker.
Yeah, he
Not
does.
the Joker.
Actually, that's not true. Most recent iteration of Joker actually is much closer to wearing snapbacks, and he does have a shitload of tattoos.
Yeah, but isn't that like the one everyone hates and got like taken out of canon?
Sure is.
So then, like-
but I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
but would you consider that the classical Joker? Would you consider that the current Joker?
You didn't say classical Joker. You just said the
Yeah,
Joker.
Yeah, but if we're talking about most recent Joker, he still doesn't wear tattoo. Or he still wears a
Doesn't
suit
he?
and doesn't have tattoos.
Wait, which one's that?
Let's
Yeah.
see. Most recent.
The Joker brand
Oh,
Joker
Sorry, you scared me when
from
you
the
said
movie
that.
The Joker.
Oh, I'm a lot like Joker from the movie. Joker.
That's fair. I was thinking Suicide Squad, but I now realize that he only showed up in the first one, so that's on me.
So he got canceled.
Thankfully, yes. I mean, he was being a freaking weirdo.
Oh, he was super weird, and he was super like Jared Leto in that like was gross as a human being, and I'm not happy about it. I still didn't hate that Joker. I'll go to bat for that Joker presentation anytime. I think it's a
I'm okay.
new take on a character
No,
that
yeah,
frankly nobody cared about.
I disagree with
People-
that. I know a lot of people.
A lot of people very much
weirdly
cared about
enough.
it, but
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, if it weren't for all the stories I heard about him deciding to go method actor Joker,
exactly.
I would have been fine with it. But like, you hear the stories, and he's like, "Yeah, I sent used condoms to random other cast members, and I left a dead
Yes.
rat in Margot Robbie's closet." And it's like,
It's
What's
Because
wrong
that's
with
what the
you?
Joker
Yeah,
would do.
he's
What is-
he's such a he's super shitty in that regard. I 100% agree. Do not like, do not want.
It's the same energy as the people who decide to go method actor for like Hitler. Where it's like, why? Why did you decide to get that?
Is that a
deep
thing?
Into the
Is that
mind
a
of
common enough thing that you
person?
have like receipts on this?
Yeah, dude.
I can't imagine.
Like
Alright,
people like decide to try and take these roles super seriously. It's an argument that I got in about what do you call playing how Taika Waititi didn't take his role as Hitler seriously at all because he's like, who gives a shit? He's Hitler, you know.
That's exactly how you should treat Hitler. First of all,
that's how I thought as well. And then other people ended up having conversations about how no, actually.
Well, I think there is a little bit of nuance to it.
What other people? Because I need.
I think it depends. If you make him into like a goof character or a joke, then it gets a little bit dangerous because you don't want people like laughing with him, and you don't want people being like, "That Hitler guy sure was funny in that movie." I think as the butt of the joke.
There is a good way to do it, and there's a bad way to do it. I think Taika Waititi did just fine, but the argument was that it was just a sus argument. It was less than comfortable situation.
I don't know that I agree. I think that you absolutely should laugh at like horrific things that have happened, or the horrific people, and rob them of whatever little power they have left in death.
Well,
that's true. You said with, but you also said you did say goofy character, and I think that you absolutely should make Hitler
a laughing stock, but not like a lovable goofball. Not like a character that people are gonna be like, that guy was funny in the movie.
That's very fair. Yeah. That makes sense.
Also, just like I feel like most of the time you just really don't need to put him in a movie. Most movies.
I think that he worked. I think the whole point of Jojo Rabbit was him like that character existing. But I agree with you in general.
I don't
like,
really know what Jojo Rabbit is, but
oh, dude, Jojo Rabbit's
I'm not gonna
good.
watch it.
I mean,
I
that's
really like
fine.
to watch like World War II movies. I've already seen like 3, and I know there's like 700 out there, and I just don't want to watch anymore.
That's
too many. Stop making them. World War I movies now. That's a genre. No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't mind seeing more World War I movies. There's not a lot of them out there, and it's a much more of a gray zone situation than it's the inherently evil Nazis, which is not to say that Nazis are not inherently bad. That's not what I mean at all. It's just would be nice to give a little bit of a highlight to and America Saved the Day not being the only thing that you can take away from every single thing.
Maybe, but also the last time I watched a World War I movie, it was Jungle Cruise.
You know what? I take it back. You're right.
And I don't really want to watch more Jungle Cruises. Yeah. I just don't like Jungle Cruise. If you like Jungle Cruise, that's wrong, but okay.
You're allowed to think
people are allowed to be wrong.
Just like how you, Jackson, are allowed to be like, you're incorrect.
That's just how it is on this Jungle Cruise.
Damn, I can't believe we really did have a
Jungle Cruise. You guys.
So guys,
can I tell you?
Was the friends we made along the way?
Can I tell you about this place that I discovered recently?
No.
Thanks.
Cool.
I appreciate that one person here likes
little place nearby here called Lake Erie.
So
wait, hold on.
It's Lake Erie.
I think you said that backwards.
Oh yeah, I'm more of a swag guy, but thanks. I appreciate the gesture.
Oh, my mistake.
I appreciate the gesture.
You tried, and I respect the attempt.
Yeah, it didn't quite click in my mind. I was just kind of saying things.
We know.
So yeah, I found this cool like independent coffee roaster recently. They're in town. And I got two quarter pounds of coffee, and both of them were quite delicious. Couldn't recommend them more.
It's been like 12 hours.
Well, I mean, they're not gone yet. I actually, in my hand right now, have a cup of the light roast. The coffee roaster is Jackson, by the way. The light roast is amazing. I love it so much. It's unironically the smoothest coffee I've ever drank in my life.
I appreciate it.
And Nina had the dark roast this morning and said that it's some of the smoothest dark roast she's ever had.
Nice.
And I don't know. I'm excited to try it.
I'm glad.
I was not home this morning, so I didn't get to try it, but you know how it is.
I appreciate the sentiments.
Yeah, very, very good. Jackson roasts a good coffee.
It's a fun little hobby. It's a good way to keep myself busy.
I believe it.
You know what else is good? Stantler, my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah,
I hear Stantler got a new evolution.
Yeah, they just made a new one. They were
dude.
They're like 25 years later. This one's for you, Jackson.
They did. I was there in the meeting room. They were like, you know who needs a new Pokemon?
It was
Jackson.
nice of them to specifically think of Jackson in this moment, where they're like, Jackson needs a better Pokemon.
I mean, like,
I'm
Not a
pretty
better
sure it's in the
Pokemon.
credits, actually. Special thanks to Jackson.
It's just like, it's one of the sad things where, like, every time I've heard anyone talking about, like, the Pokemon Direct that announced Weirdier, people were like, yeah, and for all the people who like Stantler out there, I'm like, shut up, guys. I actually heard, like, 3 people be like, and for the Stantler fan, I'm like, guys, come on.
And you're like, yeah, that's me, but hey.
I like Stantler. It deer. And now this deer, but fluffy. And you can ride it in the game? That's cool.
That's rad.
That is really cool. I'm not going to pretend it's not.
Yeah, it's about time Stantler got some, some appreciation. Even though
What are
it seems
Stantler fans called? Are they called Stantlers?
Stantler heads.
Or Stantler heads? Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I call us. And by us, I mean me. I don't really,
You and the other Stantler head out there?
Yeah, there's plenty of people probably who like Stantler. As for like favorite Pokemon tier, I don't think there's near as many, but
Stantler and like your top tier favorites.
yeah, he's my favorite. Yeah,
Oh, just flat out. Just
yeah,
flat
like
out.
my
your favorite.
number 1 draft pick.
Ah, damn.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that. I'm not gonna lie.
I've loved Stantler for a long time. Always been a Stantler head. I just really liked deer when I was a kid, and I still do. Like, I just thought they were cool, and like, so when they made the deer Pokemon, I liked it. And they made other deer Pokemon afterwards, and I like them too. But it's just like, to me, that was the,
But Stantler's the number one. Stantler's the OG. if
like
you
I
will.
like Sawsbuck a lot and Deerlit, and I think Xerneas is really cool. I'm not a big fan of the newer one, like from Gen 8, but it's just not for me. But is there even a new one? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like tripping.
Mm.
But the new Stantler evolution looks really cool, and I've always liked Stantler because deer
Yeah.
and Gen
I think
2,
the
which I
reason like
really
Stantler.
liked as a kid. So it's a good time to be Jackson.
Congratulations. I'm glad that you
Everything's
finally
coming up,
found
Jackson.
love in Stantler.
Yeah, everything
being
is coming
back.
up, Jackson. It's also like, it's nice just because like I was already like bummed out enough that they literally did not even put him in Sword and Shield. Like, you cannot get you cannot get a Stantler. So it's nice that they, coming back with a little bit of love for the Pokemon that were excluded from the newest game, which was its own set of problems. Like, why would you just not include half of the Pokemon in one of the games, even in like the post game? But whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't
Because
make a lot
I'm
of
pretty
sense to me,
sure-
actually.
I'm pretty sure because fuck you is what they said.
Yeah, it actually kind of was. They were like, it's hard to do this. And like, okay, that's fine, but are they going to come out in the DLC? They're like, it's hard to do this. That'll be $20. Anyway, the Diamond and Pearl remakes look good, and Legends Arceus looks fun enough too.
Yeah.
Get to ride Weirdo.
I am very. I'll be honest. I'm probably not gonna get it, but I am intrigued by it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna get it just because like I know I'll like get use out of it. Like,
Yeah,
I know
you-
I'll play through it, and I know I'll spend all the time on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's a Stantler head, so
Well, no, that's for Legends Arceus. I'm pretty sure Weirdeer's not gonna be in.
I thought he was. I thought
Diamond
that was
Pearl.
what he was announced for.
No, it was Legends Arceus. I can look up if it's gonna be in. It's kind of a little bit interesting that the people for like the new Diamond and Pearl remakes, people are calling them BDSP because it's Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which is just a little bit close. Yeah, it's just
It's a little too close.
It's just a little bit close.
no, I think that's correct. It's the right thing to do.
I don't like it.
Well, Dan, as you're so fond of telling me anytime there's anything remotely like that I'm like, I don't like that. You're a coward?
That's true. I am a coward.
Yeah, it's a Legends
That's the difference
Arceus. It's
between
not
you
gonna
and
be Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
Honestly, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl sounds like the next JoJo arc.
Didn't they announce that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those characters in Steven Universe.
Yeah, probably that too.
I mean-
Honestly, how much of a crossover is there in Steven Universe names and JoJo names? Like in the general like concept. I feel like it's a non-zero amount, right?
Yeah, it's got to be quite a bit.
I'm trying to find out if there's gonna be, I just don't know if like I'm pretty sure Weird Ear and like is not gonna be in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl,
I wouldn't expect it to be.
and I don't think the regional forms are either. Especially because the game's supposed to be set like back in the past, which just makes me like kind of sad. Because what if like the canon lore is like it's only in this game and it went extinct?
Oh no.
That's
Wait, what if it's
Very
only in this
fucked.
game, went extinct, and then becomes a fossil Pokemon?
That's so funny though. Like, it's very sad, But that's also
I
extremely
really
funny.
hope they don't just hit with like, yeah, no, it's extinct now, instead of like bringing it into the games.
That's so.
It's just another non-zero chance that I'm not thrilled about.
That's such a horrific gift you've given me.
Yeah, I really hope that it's not just like a one game, like and then deleted forever.
That's
It's
so
one of those
funny.
things where I don't want that to happen because that would suck.
Well, I also think it might be
However-
fun if they did something like, because the region is supposed to be like an ancient Sinnoh region. If in like the Diamond Pearl remakes, they were to throw out like in the post game, they're like, hey, we discovered like an island with Pokemon we thought were extinct or from ancient times, and then like you could access those forms and stuff.
That would be cool. That'd be very cool.
Which I also think would be pretty reasonable as well, and they could include it as a post game bit pretty easily. Who knows what they'll do? Or maybe they'll just announce later that the Pokemon are just going to be integrated into the game, which would be pretty cool.
I just think they're neat. The Pokemon, that is.
Yeah. Ow.
I'm very here for this. Oh my god, hold on. I'm gonna send you guys a 50-second video. Hold on.
Oh no.
Let's see. 41 seconds, I lied.
It's so long. How am I supposed to watch that?
We're supposed to watch this while we're recording?
Yeah, I think it's relevant. I think it's very relevant. You'll get there about like 20 seconds in.
First couple lines are hitting already, so.
Exactly. For the listener while they're watching, it is a
Dan, this is just
41
you?
second. It basically is me. Yes, that is my entire reaction to Pokemon in general these days. There's a line from an earlier game where somebody said, where it's like a lore bit where it's like, oh, long ago people married their Pokemon. That's because long ago Pokemon and people were the same. To smash cut to showing the announcement for Legends of Arceus and be like, oh, it's an ancient Sinnoh region, and a bunch of images of Pokemon and their trainers with slowly growing hysterical laughter over it. That's the bit, and I think it's very funny, and it's all I can think about now whenever somebody talks about Legend of Arceus. That's all I'm gonna associate it with.
I mean, you get over the idea that everyone wants to fuck Pokemon pretty quickly, don't worry.
Why do people want to fuck Pokemon?
People wanted to fuck Pokemon for 20 years. I can't remember the last
Why?
time I had a moment in my life where I was not aware of the fact that people want to fuck Pokemon so desperately.
Oh, I'm very aware. Listen, I get why people want to fuck Pokemon. I also think that get better Pokemon to fuck. Like, if you're out here going for fucking Gardevoir, you're basic and boring, and I don't like you.
Then if you had to fuck a Pokemon, you wouldn't pick the one that looked the most like a person? Do you
That
think it's
one,
boring to want to fuck people?
Very debatable that it looks the most like a person.
More like a person than
Two.
Totodile.
I have long since had this stance of it's okay to fuck Pokemon as long as they're sentient. Mewtwo, for example, can give consent, therefore it's okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
also
know
a
how
really basic
sentient
one.
Gardevoir is, and that makes me
Gardevoir
upset.
is also like a hyper-intelligent psychic Pokemon.
Okay, good. Then Gardevoir can give consent. Good for them.
I just don't think people should fuck Pokemon because it's weird. Also, I think it's different if people are like, I want to fuck, like, Pikachu, when it looks like Pikachu. If they're like, hey, I drew Pikachu as, like, a tall lady with big boobs. I'm like, yeah, you don't want to fuck Pikachu. You want to fuck a tall lady with big... Like, I get it. You got the Pikachu skin over it, but that's not, you know.
Yeah, that's
But when
not
people
what,
are like,
that's
this
not
is just
what
an image of
the point.
Pikachu, I want to fuck that. You're like, that's weird, man. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's my take.
That's a good take. That's a good take.
Yeah, I think if it's like, if they draw it as like a humanoid form and they're like, that's sexy, you're like, I mean, sure. Like, but again,
Sure,
it's,
do you
at
do
that
your
point,
thing.
I don't think you're doing anything, like, it's not as, I mean, it's still weird, but it's not like as weird, because it's like, yeah, you know, it's yeah, went as far as to make it like a humanoid. And that's a big step in the right direction. It's not hard to, you know, pass the, I don't know, there's probably a name for the test that would be determining whether or not you're being weird about wanting to have sex with Pokemon. But the answer is probably always yes. You know, I think, you know, it's the realm and the nectar. I think there's,
as we all know.
yeah, I think, you know, you can't fully shame somebody if they're in the not completely crazy class of it. Yeah, let them be.
Yeah, you gotta it's gotta be gentle shaming.
Yeah. If it's like one of your like close friends and they say something, you'd be like, it's kind of weird, man. Kind of weird, friendo.
Bruh.
But strangers on the internet wanting to fuck Lopunny, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I figured as much. Not like I hold strangers on the internet to a high standard, so
True.
When I find out they want to have sex with weird things, I go, whatever.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, Stantler 2.
Stantler 2,
Stantler
dude.
2.
Peggle 2, please. .gif.
Gotta love Stantler 2.
I'm excited. I actually am. Like, it's finally a Pokemon for me.
I'm glad. Like, I'm very glad. I will say, on the topic of the game, people are, hoo boy, giving it some roasting for graphics. Hoo boy.
I think it looks really good.
Interesting. I think it looks a little sparse. I won't lie. From just like the screenshots I've been seeing, it looks a little like sparse as far as like terrain goes.
I think so, yeah, it definitely looks like it could use a little bit more like background work, but also it's like I'm not really like playing Pokemon for the graphics, and anytime they tried to put any kind of like focus on it, I find that it just immediately fucks everything else over. Because last time they were like, we're gonna make it pretty, and you can have like a free rotating camera. They're like, yeah, we're also not putting any of the Pokemon in it. So I'm like, at this point, make the game look like shit. Just make it good. Like,
I mean, people are still playing the old like Game Boy ports every chance they can get.
Oh yeah.
People love the art of the old games. They just don't want to play a pixel game. They don't want anything fancy. They just don't always want a pixel game.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's a lot to ask for.
And I think it's also just a matter of like having a faithful remake in like an updated style with like new typings, new graphics, and new Pokemon available is just like a big, I don't want to say step in the right direction, because I don't want to say just remake everything forever, because they've already been doing that. But like, at least there's not going to be 4 10-hour cutscenes. Like, it's Pokemon, man. Like, no one's out here like, oh boy, I hope the lore in this one's good. They're like, man, I hope I get to fight an evil team, and I hope I get to find a starter Pokemon that's cool. Lost, you guys got in your wall.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with like thousands. That's all. I need to get like some dust insecticide, because the raid is not doing it. They are just taking over. They keep like, now they're leaking into my house, and I think there's a hole somewhere.
Gross and horrifying.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I told you guys about the wasp last week, didn't I?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, there's wasps in my wall, right above my desk.
I don't like that. That is. Please tell me you can't hear them constantly moving around.
Oh, I can.
Oh, I hate
and I
that.
can't get them.
I don't like
that.
those.
I've tried so much.
You ever related but slightly unrelated? Y'all ever watch those videos of like beekeepers on TikTok? Are you on that side at all?
Yeah.
No,
I've seen them.
I feel like of the three of us, I'm the one who should be, but I'm not.
So here's the thing, right? The dull buzz as they approach, always fun, but then once they start doing things, especially like the relocating guys who are literally tearing the stuff all out, I could not hate more the sound of the bees just like going click, 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 knocking against, like it's just constant.
Oh.
Ooh, that's just anxiety inducing.
I think I don't mind it too much. I don't like it when it's in my walls and it's wasps, but like I've been handling the bees like that I have enough so that it doesn't like weird me out, and I'm not like scared of the sound, because I realize like it's really just bee noise. Like they just be moving around because they're moving. But like it's the it's like the angry buzzing and the close to your face buzzing that I still don't like.
Yeah, that's super valid.
Like,
but
I definitely the stuck
would
in
not
your
like it
beard is the worst. When a bee gets stuck in my beard, because it's just like there's hardly any good way to get them out without like going inside and getting like a comb. But then at that point, I have to go inside the house with a bee in my face and then take the bee off my face. So usually I just kind of like run my fingers through my beard until it comes out, and then I just kind of like run away so it doesn't attack me, and then I regroup with the smoker typically.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Also, I thought kind of like smokers, for like as they worked on bees, I was like, oh yeah, it just kind of like puts them to sleep or makes it so they can't really see. But like it's like a straight up panacea. Like, oh, you got a bee problem? Throw some smoke on them; they'll shut up. It works great. It'd be like Minecraft. Minecraft, just like real.
You're right. You know what? That is it. Minecraft is just like real.
Video game, real life.
The same? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
What if? All right, we're done.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. This is
a quick episode, I feel.
Yeah, we're done.
We have any call to action we want to do this week? I feel like we haven't done anything dramatic in a little while. We were kind of like, weren't we doing like a name it and claim it thing with our unknown enemy last time?
Yeah, if there's any unknown enemies. Has anyone come forward?
Enemies? I don't think so.
Oh man, we didn't talk about the OnlyFans stuff, did we?
No. Do you want to do a 2-second recap of our opinion on it?
I mean, all I would say is the same thing I said on Twitter, which is fucking go support sex workers. Sex workers real work.
What?
It's a garbage fucking.
Go support sex workers.
Seriously,
if you
no,
want to.
Full stop. No, I said what I said. even if not actually physically, like literally go support them, like support that they should be having jobs and like be allowed to live and make money the way that they choose. And it is a garbage situation that only ever gets worse. I feel like every couple of years you find out, oh, this was a great thing for them, and now it's ruined again. Yeah, that's literally all I want to go into on that. Like, it makes me very upset, and
it is insane to me that OnlyFans decided that the optimal move is to shut down the thing that makes them money. But
it's, you know what, it's because they couldn't find, from what I was hearing on like around, it's because they couldn't find investment money, because a lot of investment firms don't allow their money to go into X-rated anything adult like content.
I don't obviously I don't know their situation. I can't understand though how they possibly could need investment companies.
Well,
that is
from what I understood, they were making consistent good money.
Sure, but almost all companies in the world ever will eventually need more investment funding. Not literally all, but almost all, in some shape or form. Like, that's just normal corporate bullshit.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're starting a company that is based heavily on sex work, why would you do anything to branch out to do anything to branch out that would require investment? That's a terrible idea, because then your entire model falls apart. And for what? Investment money to do what? It doesn't.
Well, I think that's the thing, right? Is that while it became synonymous with sex workers, it was not originally designed for that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't even know what an OnlyFans does. I've never been on an OnlyFans before.
It's just Patreon.
Yeah, it is. It's Patreon for porn.
Patreon with boobies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what Patreon is also
Patreon? Yeah, but that is the thing, is Patreon was doing a fun thing for a hot minute where they were just shutting stuff down for a little while.
Oh god, I forgot about that too. Yeah.
Like, obviously, I heard about it because conservative content creators were like, "Oh, we're just getting shut down with no notice." But also, I don't care if I don't necessarily agree. You still can't shut people down with no notice if they're not actually breaking your terms of service. I don't know. That's all I have to say, though. It's a shit situation that makes no sense. But I'm glad that other companies that already existed were able to capitalize on this and advertise and say, "Hey, come this way instead."
I hope it works out. It still sucks because it's going to be a whole thing to rebuild their whole brand and whatnot. On a new platform. That's not easy. Ever, but yeah.
That's why you just need to sell premium Snapchat on your Twitter.
True. No, is this
although
you
I hear that was a
premium
big
Snapchat?
Thing. Yeah, it's a foot.
It's a foot. Your premium Snapchat is a single foot.
Help pay for my my gout treatments. You get to look at my gout toe.
That sounds awful.
Don't like that. Gee willikers, mister.